What's cracking, YouTubers? I've got a couple projects to do to the four-wheeler here. One of them really easy and straightforward. One of them will be a trial run. I'll bring you along for that ride. I received in the mail the other day a license plate for the four-wheeler, off-road specific. Interesting that they sent it to me this time, but not when I registered it the first time last year. They didn't give me the option, but I recently renewed the registration and it came in the mail like a week later. And it is kind of cool, and I do like the idea of it because you're supposed to, according to their diagram, put the registration stickers on the fender, but where they can be seen. Obviously not a good place here with the rack in the way and everything. The previous owner had put them under here, so I followed suit and just put them on top here. But you go through some mud or something and they won't be able to see that. So I've got the license plate and I need to mount it onto the rack here. Now obviously I can't really mount it in this space or it'll block the tail light, which would be unhelpful, I think. So I have decided to mount it to this bottom bar, and it will hang down, which I don't think will be a problem. So I looked around for mounting kits, and the one I decided to go with is from Nilight. I've had several of their products in the past and I like them. So this is just the horizontal bar clamp mounting kit. You can mount lights and things with this kit, and it has a couple of different options. So you've got your main pieces here, which with strip, and they send all of this in the kit, the strip to just buffer the clamps gives you a 2-inch opening, or they send inserts down to a 1-inch. So now I've got a little bit of a problem. So they've got 1, 1.5, 1 3/4. My bar I measured was 1 1/4 inch. I measured it using a caliper, so that's a pretty accurate measurement. So I'm going to try it. I've got the 1-inch mounts in here, and let's give this a look. See how well that's going to grip. I'm imagining that this will probably work okay, and that these rubber inserts will just squish a bit. Let's see what we got. So here's what the 1-inch looks like, and I'm going to grab the 1.5 and see what that looks like. I got this kit from Amazon. I believe it was $11.99, something like that. And something I like about these inserts, the bracket's a little bigger than I would like, but that's okay. But you can see that it is grooved, and the back side of the inserts also grooved. So once you get that in place and get a little pressure on it, those should lock in and not twist or go anywhere. So now I have the 1.5-inch inserts, and these fit around the bar pretty well, but they don't, by the time I clamp them, I still think I'm going to be able to spin this. So I think what I'm going to do is take the foam insert that came with it and just do that, just to take up a little space, give me a little more grip. I ended up using the 1.5-inch inserts with a layer of foam on just one side. So I've got that on the top side. I otherwise have them spaced. So you can see here that will line up really well. So now I just need to get some screws or something to attach the license plate onto the bracket. The brackets are 1/2 inch thick, so some 3/4 inch long screws should be ideal. I'll probably zip over to Lowe's real quick and get some stainless steel bolts to handle that with subsequent washers. And so you don't need to see me do that. When I come back, I'll be on to the second aspect of today's project, the learning curve, and I'll show you that one right now. Some 5/16 bolts. Where it's a smidgen tight, you might consider doing 3/8, which I believe was the next size down. And I ended up going 1 inch long and using a nylon thread lock nut, and that 1 inch was just barely long enough. I barely have engagement there. Now if I took this washer off of the outside, it would probably fit fine, and I am considering doing that. But otherwise, this one is good to go, mounted. You can see here under the light, I'm not totally centered, but close enough that it'll be fine. Now, the next issue, and conveniently it is right here. I have a nail in my tire, and this tire goes flat. It's not a big leak. I have to fill it up 2 or 3 times a season, so it's not a big leak. However, it is mildly annoying that when I have to fill it up and that I have to check it every time. So I'm going to grab my tire patch kit out of the Jeep, and I'm going to throw a plug in there. I say tire patch kit, it's a tire plug kit. And so I'm going to pull that nail with probably a pair of pliers and then go through the motions. I have never fixed a tire like this. I've watched it done, so this will be my first one. I'll bring you along for the ride, and we'll see how easy this is for a first timer. I have the Smittybilt tire repair kit. I believe I bought this off of Amazon. I'm going to peruse the instructions. This is I noticed here I've got some patches and some plugs and the requisite equipment, nice beefy handles. Yeah, so it should be pretty quick. I'm just going to refresh my memory. I believe all I have to do is pull the nail out of the tire, which I have rotated, be a little more little easier to access. And then once I have that out, well, I'll read the instructions and then. So the kit has everything you should need. I've been wondering what the wire is for. That is if you need to repair a sidewall, at least to get you out. It may not fix it permanently, but there was one thing I would have overlooked, so always glad to read the instructions. I've got here the reaming tool, which opens the hole enough to allow the plug to go through. You're supposed to line the reaming tool with some of the rubber cement that's here, so which helps it adhere to the plug, and I think it provides some lubrication while reaming. So I think that's a good idea all the way through. So pretty much as I thought. You pull out the object that's caused the flat, my nail in this case. You ream the hole at the same angle as the object you pulled out with the reaming tool, and then you plug the hole with the plug insertion tool. Careful not to go so far as to put the plug, like push the plug all the way through. So yeah, just my plugs don't look like they are terribly long, so just a heads up, you don't want to just drive it all the way in there. And once again, you're supposed to follow the angle of the hole and then pull it out and reinflate it. And if you happen to have not seen one of these tools before, the insertion tool has a split at the far end, so that when you pull it out, that split will go over the plug and release it out. They've included the pliers, the knife to cut off excess plug outside the tire, all that stuff. I'm not going to get those out because I have everything, those same tools, handy in the garage. But a nice complete kit. Alright, I got the camera propped up on the rack here. It's not got a great hold, so as I'm pulling on this tire, there's a good chance the camera may wiggle. Sorry. I grabbed a couple different plier options, and I'm thinking, let's start with this guy. If I can get under that nail. And for the record, this nail has been in here. I noticed it last year shortly after I bought the four-wheeler, so I may have picked it up, but it has been here a while. Okay, so got that going. Right now I'm just looking at the angle. Looks like it's going that way, if you can't see that on the camera, and it's coming out pretty easily, so it's not as embedded in there as I thought it was, which is probably why it's leaking. But no big deal. Okay, I'm going to get the stuff ready. So now on the trail, from videos I've watched, they indicate that you want to do the next steps as quickly as possible. That's get the nail out, get the hole reamed, and get the plug in to minimize how much air you lose. But whereas I'm at home and I can easily pump this up, I'm just going to do this without really trying to rush myself. So, ooh, that was a nice long nail. Look at that guy. Clearly leaking. So I am opening my rubber cement. This rubber cement's a little runny, just kind of spilled out almost. A common rubber cement smell. So they said, you know, kind of rub it around like that, which I have done. That is not easy to do. And it does say to rotate this as you plug it, so you get a good ream. The hole's feeling pretty good. Oh, well, that's no good. Have to tighten that back up. Okay, here are the plugs. I'm gonna take one of these. Should be pretty sticky, and they are. Now, supposed to feed this through this way till it gets even. I kind of smashed the end just a little bit, and it did say you can use the pliers if needed. So I need that smashed a little bit more, and I think I will add a little rubber cement to this, because when it dries, that will help with the seal, and in the meantime it will help lubricate. Going. So you can see the side that I ran through squished down and has now plumped back up. So just a little bit of this on each side. Lube that up on both sides. And that is not what you're supposed to do. Yep, pushed it right through, so I'm going to have to try that one more time. These plugs have some sort of adhesive on them, which is of course great. This one seems a little harder than the first one. So I am using the pliers on it. I'm going to try this one without. It's going, there it goes. Take it about to there. And I'm going to go a little further. And out. There we go. So, got that in. I am going to trim this off just a little bit. And then, they said you can fill it right up and see if it works. So, I guess we'll try that. My knife here. You know what? I need to switch sides on this real quick. Or maybe just switch blades. I don't have one handy, so let me see if this will do it. I'll be better off with this end, I think. Cut it off. I'm going to leave a little bit out. Oh yeah. There we go. Alright. I'm going to turn you off while I get this situated to put some air in it, and we'll see if it holds. I filled up the tire yesterday to 15 psi. I have this Rhino tire inflator with built-in gauge that I really like. I also have a Rhino tire gauge, just regular tire gauge, but it tends to read a couple of pounds different than this one. So I'm going to use this one to check what the PSI is. It has been 18 hours maybe, and let's see how we're doing here. It still looks highly inflated. This clip on here. It's leaking a little bit, but still about 15. So see if I can, there we go, got that to hold. You can see it has not lost any air pressure. So I know this is a short sample size of less than 24 hours, but I'm feeling pretty confident about this tire, so I will check it before I take it out on the next ride just to verify it's still holding. But otherwise, this job is done. Successful first round using tire repair kit. Very straightforward. Smittybilt makes a great kit. I think it was worth the money. With that, I think I will wrap this one up. I'd like to say thank you for watching. If this was helpful or entertaining, take a moment, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you'd like to see more content in the future. I think you'll start seeing a bit more diversity on the channel, not so much Jeep stuff as that project is closing down and spreading out. So there'll be some other things coming down the pike. And I'm thinking I want to put some special valve caps on the four-wheeler here. I've got some American flag ones on my car and on the Jeep. I'm very much into Americana stuff. I would like to maybe put some on the four-wheeler. If you have some ideas, comment, make some suggestions. What would match my little purple monster here, which I believe I've mentioned before, but I have nicknamed Barney. And with that, once again, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.